Here is Danny, and today with a question. What is DICE's Twitter game? I really don't understand it, and I am an avid Twitter person. Okay, so I have to say this video is gonna be a bit long and won't be super structured. I go from left to right to above and below, ranting about a lot of things that DICE does with their social media. It might get harder to follow than a normal video, and trust me, I know I can be pretty hard to follow sometimes already. And I don't even know if I'm gonna come to a conclusion. Probably not. I also want to say I like most of the people at DICE, like Darko, Florian, the Oscars, Kevin, Color, Randy, Luke, Jack, and way more, for example. And I don't even know how many I missed or don't even know yet. And this is not an attack on them, especially not since they're designers, coders, animators, video people, and whatever the hell Jack does. I haven't found out yet. Okay, so yeah, it started off with the June soon boom stuff. A term used by the community for when DICE promises a thing and it takes a year, like the vehicle customization in Battlefield 5. Like Jesus, read the room and don't tweet that. Now, after the game has released in a, let's say, questionable state, DICE has been barely discussing the game's state on the main account, if anywhere. A little bit on the Battlefield direct communication channel, which usually talks about the patches and a few bugs, but nothing on the huge amount of legit feedback DICE got over time. But the official Battlefield account keeps tweeting random lore bits that do not even remotely look like what we have in game. Some tips and tricks by Crizzle, and weirdly enough no tweets at all about the limited time mode that got introduced on the 16th of December, which is the elf mode thing. So DICE makes a cool mode and they don't even advertise it. The best thing is, the date it went live, they tweeted out about Jack Frags his Kun game mode, which they took out on the day. Brilliant marketing. Probably when Santa vs Elves goes away again, they will tweet about it. Not the point, but it does show how brilliant they are with the marketing. Okay, so yeah, DICE has a lot of angry players who feel scammed that they didn't get the Battlefield game they expected, with tons of missing features. Then when DICE talks about some of those features that every shooter has, like a scoreboard, they weirdly call it a legacy feature, which obviously didn't go well in the community. So the community's angry, but DICE keeps tweeting like everything is going fine and people absolutely love the game. And even if they are scheduled tweets, you can, guess what, unschedule them. Every comment under it is either mad sarcasm, usually for me, or anger. Sometimes, and I know it is weird coming from me, the guy with like 500,000 tweets and a million videos, but sometimes silence could be the best option. Don't have anything useful to say? Just be quiet. Look at Hello Games and their game No Man's Sky, that launched like shit and missed tons of features the community deemed as promised, because Murray mentioned it somewhere in an interview like a year or 2 or 3 before the game launched. So yeah, the game was shit and they made one tweet, "We're gonna fix this," and then went silent. No extra marketing or trying to look cool for kids or posting artwork that doesn't even reflect the game in a single way. No, they went silent and went on to fixing the game. Then the updates came and eventually it became a proper redemption arc. So I actually wrote most of this stuff in a few tweets on Twitter actually before today, and it was doing pretty well, with the original tweet sitting on 570 likes at the moment. And a lot of people actually agreeing with me, which is nice. I was mentioning how EA and DICE didn't even do the most basic things, like what they're gonna do to fix it, or that it shouldn't have launched the way it did. Like they did with Battlefield 4 even, quickly halting future projects, which in this case was Star Wars Battlefront 1 and the DLCs for Battlefield 4. Which at that point, by the way, already had its first DLC named China Rising, with of course 3000 bugs, but it was more content at least. But yeah, they released it. doesn't ignore the state though. Totally ignore the state because it was shite. And now the global director of comms at EA, Andy McNamara, tweeted this. And I quote, "Back to work today. Check Reddit and Twitter, and Battlefield fans are pissed. We didn't do enough updates or communication during the holiday break. Guys, people got rest. We have things in motion, but we gotta figure out what is possible. We will address it when we are 100%. Let us get back from the break and back to work. Love you guys, but these expectations are brutal. The things you want take time to scope, design and execute." Boy, yeah, sure, devs deserve vacation. Yes, the real humans do. I know. And no, you didn't have to tweet that. Also, what were you doing the past 3 years as a development studio? No, you don't have to focus on the negative feedback, you can address it, but man, try to understand why the negative feedback exists and why people are angry. We're now a good amount of months after the technical test, after the beta and the full release of the game. And only now you are trying to figure out what to do? What have you been doing then since the beta? It was pretty clear that people didn't like the specialists and tons of lacking features, but you only look now at it. Expectations are brutal. Yeah, we expected a Battlefield game. And what did we get? A 50 GB identity crisis. Also, does he read this as, "Those people want me to work on my holiday"? Ugh. Like, read the room, just be silent, learn from No Man's Sky. And we wouldn't have this problem. Also, while writing this, he replied to some guy on Twitter who said, "Improving performance is brutal on a live service game." And he replied, "Expecting us to work on the holidays." That was the subject. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, so then the question remains. Why did the game release a month before global vacation? Okay, holiday sales, duh, it's about the money. Why does the game release in such a shitty state? Why does it miss tons of super basic features and are now deemed legacy features? Why does it seem from your tweets that DICE is only now gonna find out what people want? DICE lost the goodwill with the fans like 3 years ago with Battlefield 5, and 2042 had to kick it out of the park, which it didn't. Now it has even less players than that game, a month after release, with the next content seemingly coming in March. Remember what I just said about China Rising, that it came in early December while Battlefield 4 was released early October? But yeah. But no, the game with barely any content in All Out War has to wait bloody long. Just lovely. I absolutely get that you want to let players know that DICE has been on vacation and why there have been less tweets during the break. But not sure if this was the best way to do it. Me, the non-marketing and communication professional, would do it a little bit like this. Hello, we are slowly coming back from our vacations. We have read your feedback and will act on it accordingly. And we will come with something concrete when everything is ready. Gets the point across, doesn't attack anyone, and doesn't leave the door open to attacks. But yeah, no idea where this is going, I'm just curious on what we're doing. But hey, that's all I got for now, subscribe for more. This was Danny and I, see you on the battlefield.